Hello, listeners. What kind of music moves you? Thank you for joining me, ESTRA, this June 8th, 2013, for Talking About You with ESTRA on Block Talk Radio and ESTRA's TV, currently on YouTube under ESTRA's blog. This is your car accident show sharing information and concerns that help you, family, friends, and community from an injured person's perspective, meaning the person hurt in a car wreck. Today's topic will be on you and using music for comfort after a car wreck. There is nothing like music to soothe the savage beast inside of all of us. Use it today to reduce the stress, pain, or suffering of everyday life. It has a way of reuniting our bodies and minds and souls, bringing us into balance with who we really are and our worldview. Music can move people in very personal ways. Also today in our program is Personal Injury in the News, providing comments on events and holidays of the coming week, my commentary on you and using music for comfort after a car collision, and last but not least, discussion on articles related to our topic. Is your life full of chaos after a car accident? Is daily peace hard to find? Try using music to calm and soothe yourself after a distressing or painful day. Let your mind drift or dream and relax. Make this your time for you to enjoy what's important in your life. Although this may not eliminate chronic pain, suffering, or the trauma from life experiences, it may help to process the information or at the very least place it into perspective. Yes, music has a way of providing understanding into many life experiences and allow a way of communicating it within ourselves. So let's explore music variety today. At times during the show, the music will be allowed to shine as interludes, so take a moment to explore and get to know maybe a new genre. In this program, your challenges in dealing with insurance companies, self-insured employers, and coping with everyday situations from being involved in an accident are up for discussion. So dial 718-766-4385. Again, that number is 718-766-4385 right now to participate in today's broadcast. Someone injured just like you wants to learn about how music has impacted your life. If you're calling the show after hours, call 206-203-4686 to provide your comments, or you can also tweet me at ESTRA's Radio Show. And that's one word, ESTRA's Radio Show. Tune in every Saturday morning at 11 a.m. Pacific Standard Time on Block Talk Radio, or view it every Wednesday on ESTRA's TV. Remember, it's YouTube, user ESTRA's blog. We're coming to you from Seattle, Washington. Personally, firsthand, I understand your situation. I have dealt with insurance companies such as USAA, Geico, PIMCO, Progressive, Farmers, Allstate, the Hartford, Premier, Blue Cross, United Healthcare, Medicare, Likewise Insurance Company, Social Security, and employer S&C Lavalin Constructors, previously known as Enron. Other notable mentions for this week include June 14th, which is Flag Day. Timeanddates.com describes Flag Day in the United States as, quote, people across the United States celebrate Flag Day on June 14 each year to honor the United States flag and to commemorate the flag's adoption. On the same day, the United States Army celebrates its birthday. So next week, happy birthday, United States Army, and thanks for all that you do. I'm going to go back into the article. That was just my little tidbit there. Flag Day falls within National Flag Week, a time where Americans reflect on the foundation of the nation's freedom. Oh, I have to stop right here. Freedom. I wonder if, I think now that, in my opinion, this is just a side note. In my opinion, a lot of Americans are realizing how their personal freedoms are just being squeezed today. And I hope that many recognize that the only way to stop that compression is to stand up. Otherwise, we're gonna end up like being in a ball. Just, you know, it's a very bad situation. So remember at this time that this is about our freedom and about choosing how we're going to live, and that just takes all of us to stand up. Okay, I'm going to go back in the article. Quote, "The flag of the United States represents freedom and has been an enduring symbol of the country's ideals since its early days. During both events, Americans also remember their loyalty to the nation." I have to stop there. We have to really remember that. That's what we need, is to have loyalty to the nation. We should have more than 1% of our our young people going into the military to support our country. You know, that tells you who really values our country. When only 1% of us go in to serve, that leaves a lot of burden on just a small percentage of our population. And I know that we need some work in our military as far as, making it so it's safe for everyone. But that's really got to change. 1% of our population going into the military. What has happened in this country? We really need to think about what we're doing and what our choices and priorities are. But I'm going to go back. All right, I'm going to back up just a little bit so you can catch on to where we are. Quote, "During both events, Americans also remember their loyalty to the nation, reaffirm their belief in liberty and justice." I have to stop there. Oh my goodness, this one sentence is just packed with things to talk about. Liberty and justice. When you have 99% of the people not getting much liberty, not getting much justice, it's time for change. But you know what, poor people? And I'm calling you out by name, poor people, because most people in our country now are poor people. There's no middle class. You're just a little bit better off than the poorest of the poor, but you're still poor. And the only way to change that is to realize that the systems where we are not working. You need to vote and vote in 214. Please vote in 214. It's not going to stop. If you get too busy with other things, that's not going to stop the direction of the path of our country. The only way that's going to happen is if you take the time to vote. Okay, I'll try to get through some more of the article this time. Quote, I'm going to go back and read this sentence since it was so potent. "During both events, Americans also remember their loyalty to the nation, reaffirm their belief in liberty and justice, and observe the nation's unity." I'm sorry, I just have to get this last part, unity. You can see our Congress has been anything but unified. You've seen where their interest is, a lot of it their own and not the American people. We have our infrastructure falling apart. We still have a high unemployment rates. We have people living on the streets. We have people who don't have health care. Fortunately, Obamacare in 214 is actually going to move more people in being covered. So, and don't be afraid of that program. Go out to healthcare.gov. I repeat that, healthcare.gov, and actually read about it for yourself. The cost goes down. Okay, so make sure, for most people. Okay, so go out there and make sure. Every time our society, somebody says something to make you scared, don't get scared. Make it a red flag to say, okay, they're trying to scare me. I'm not going to be scared. I'm going to stand up and actually get accurate information, if that's possible in our day and age sometimes. I'm going to get accurate information. I'm going to base my decision on facts, not because of what somebody else said. And I'm going to take the time to find out those facts. I'm not just going to just hear it and just believe that it's the truth. I'm going to investigate it and find out. And I'm not saying you have a lot of time to spend investigating, but just try to find out what's really important and try to hear different points of view so that you can evaluate what you think about it. Because if you're only listening to one side, then you're not probably necessarily getting the full story. Whoa, what a power-filled sentence that was. Okay, I'm going back to the article. Quote, "Many people in the United States honor this day by displaying the American flag at home and public buildings. Other popular ways of observing this holiday includes flag raising ceremonies, Flag Day services, school quizzes and essay competition about the American flag, musical salutes, street parades, and awards for special recognition. Organizations such as the National Flag Day Foundation are actively involved in coordinating activities centered on events and keeping the flag traditions alive. Following Flag Day is Honoring America's Days, a 21-day period through the Independence Day, which is July 4th, to honor America. During this period, people hold public gatherings and activities to celebrate and honor the nation, end quote. And that's something we do need to do. We need to honor the good things about our nation because there are a lot of great things. And I always like to remember to say that there are everyday heroes out there doing so much, not getting any credit, not looking for credit, just doing the right thing because it is the right thing. And anytime we can help to make this a better place with just the most simple things, just being kind. And, I think that being mean and hurting people is really overrated today. Doesn't mean that you have to be somebody that you just are walked over. I'm not saying that. That's not what I mean by being kind, because I think that everyone deserves respect. But I think a lot of people have been hurt and bruised, and they're just hurting and bruising others, and that's just not the way to go. Well, the only thing that leaves is more pain scattered around and make it more difficult to get back to balance as a society. But this is an excellent article on Flag Day, and there is much more to learn at this website. So make sure to go out and visit timeanddate.com. I found the whole article fascinating. Also, each year the President of the United States does a proclamation. So, President Obama's 2013 Flag Day and National Flag Week proclamation is as follows, quote, "Each June, our nation lifts its sights to the flag that has watched over us since the days of our founding. It's those broad stripes and bright stars we see the arc of the American story. A handful of colonies to 50 states, united and free. When proud patriots took up the fight for independence, they came together under a standard that showed their common cause." And I have to stop right there because that is something we need to do today. We really do need to come together and stand under a common cause. And in my opinion, that common cause is just economic fairness in our wages, in our hours people that are working at. I mean, people are working so many hours that they don't have a lot of time with their families. They're asking why the education of children and what's happening to them, and I think it's the family. I think that for some reason our society's become skewed in thinking that corporate America has created a society of slaves, and that's not a balance. And slavery is not a great thing. I don't know if people think it is, but it's not. Yeah, advertisers can do a lot of things, but slavery should not be one of the things of where we're going. And basically, at the end of the day, when your life is all said and done, what is it that you want it to reflect? What is it do you want to show? A life's work, is that important? In my opinion, yes. A life's work is important. But a life of relationships and respect and moving a country in a direction, not in a Pollyanna sense. So I don't want you to think I'm thinking this is just all, nice and comfortable. There's a lot of things that you have to stand up, and you have to stand up and defend, and that's not necessarily easy. But you have to be able to come together as a common cause and say, when we have a storm and we need federal assistance, it should be there. It should not be for some to decide, well, we don't want our government. The government is there for all of us, and it should be used in a way that helps all of us. And our government workers should be respected, including the IRS workers. To me, in my opinion, and then I'll get back on the article here in just a moment. In my opinion, a lot of the stuff with the IRS is around the political section of Obamacare, of trying to cause a lot of problems so that going forward, it makes the IRS more fearful to do the things that it needs to do. And in my opinion, if we allow certain segments of our society to run us ragged with fear and intimidation, then they're going to have our country. And they've got a lot of it right now. Look at all the stuff that they were talking about this week with our privacy. There's so much going on that America, this is no time to be sleeping. Wake up. Realize what Flag Day means and what people have given in past generations to get us to where we are. Do not let it go because we're so interested in entertainment, or we're just not really wanting to do the hard things. Sometimes doing the hard things makes us appreciate some of the fun things, and know that we've done what we can to make it better for the next generation. And as we've seen, our next generation now is not moving, is not going to be ahead of the past generations. And why is that? Why is that? That's not because of the majority of the people who are now poor, unless you want to talk about it being that people haven't kept up, gone out and vote, evaluated who they placed in office, and held them accountable. But that's a whole new show. I'm going to go back to the proclamation here. Quote, "When proud patriots took up the fight for independence, they came together under a standard that showed their common cause. When the wounds of the Civil War were still fresh and our country walked the long road to Reconstruction, our people found hope in a banner that testified to the strength of our unions." I need to stop here for just a moment because we don't actually spend a lot of time talking about Reconstruction. Because in my opinion, we're not in a Reconstruction phase as in history, but there's things right now that have changed. But the point I want to make about in Reconstructions, African Americans at that time began to actually run for office and do a lot of great things and grow. And that's actually when the KKK came actually into being, was to try to reduce that type of growth and put African Americans back into more of a slavery mode. And I would just challenge each one of you to look at America now and say, are we in a slavery state of just all Americans? Has credit card debt, has the way in which systems have been set up causing most of the people, not because they want to be in that situation, but to live as seniors now, being $50,000 in debt in their golden years? There's a lot of things we need to think about what we're doing and who's leading us. Are we just being led to the trough for slaughter, so to speak? And if it is, can you choose not to go there? In America, so far, you can. So make sure that you really are standing up to the things that are important. Because if you don't wake up, if you keep falling asleep and turning your life decisions, your votes, just letting them go by the wayside, then more of this stuff's going to happen. And one day you're going to wake up and you're going to wonder, is this the United States of America? But, all right, I'm going to go on. Whenever our country journey takes, wherever our American journey has taken us, whether on that unending path to the mountaintop or high above into the reaches of space, Old Glory has followed, reminding us of the rights and responsibilities we share as citizens. This week we celebrate the legacy and we honor the brave men and women who have secured it through centuries of service at home and abroad. Let us raise our flags high for small town storefronts to duty stations stretched around the globe, and let us look to them once more as we press on in the march toward a more perfect union. To commemorate the adoption of our flag, the Congress by joint resolution approved August 3, 1949, as amended 63 Statute 492, designated June 14 of each year as Flag Day, and requested that the President issue an annual proclamation calling for its observance and for the display of the flag of the United States on all federal government buildings. Congress also requested by joint resolution approved June 9, 1966, as amended 80 Statute 194, that the President annually issue a proclamation designating the week in which June 14 occurs as National Flag Week, and call upon citizens of the United States to display the flag during that week. So make sure that you get your flags out. That's me adding that. Now, therefore, I, Barack Obama, President of the United States of America, do hereby proclaim June 14, 2013 as Flag Day, and the week beginning June 9, 2013 as National Flag Week. I direct the appropriate officials to display the flag on all federal government buildings during that week, and I urge all Americans to observe Flag Day and National Flag Week by displaying the flag. I also call upon the people of the United States to observe with pride, I want to say that again, with pride and all due ceremony those days from Flag Day through Independence Day. That's the 21-day that we were talking about in timeanddate.com. Also set aside by the Congress, 89 Statute 211, as a time to honor America, to celebrate our heritage in public gatherings and activities, and to publicly recite the Pledge of Allegiance to the flag of the United States. I have to stop here because I am just amazed how many people do not know the Pledge of Allegiance to the flag of the United States of America. And I hope that you will go out and actually Google that, or whatever search engine you prefer to use. There's Yahoo, there's Bing, there's a lot of them out there. To be able to, if you don't know it, to maybe recite it each day this week, to remind you what our country stands for. And I just wish that we would put that back in our schools, because I think it's a uniting force for all of our citizens. But I'm going to go in and just finish this quote from the president. In witness whereof I have hereto set my hand the 7th day of June, in the year of our Lord 2013, and of the independence of the United States of America, 237. Barack Obama, end quote. You know, many generations have fought, died, and made incredible sacrifices in order to lift up this country to a standard many places in the world hold with high regards. Each generation is responsible for moving the United States forward. In this country, there have always been a segment of society that attempts to hold the reins on some of the American people, which attempts to squash their dreams. However, when the U.S. citizen hold onto the dream, add determination to it, and stand up together as a majority, not backing away from the fight, we improve as a society. We stop suppressing individual rights. Women, children, people of color, poor whites, immigrants have moved forward, yet for our flag to truly be inclusive, the rights must be equal in opportunity, hope, and daily needs being met. Reflect on what you in this time and age can do to keep our country moving forward. Poor or wealthy, choose to vote in 2014, because this is where decisions on what our country begins. Unfortunately, there are two classes we have now in America. In order to move forward, we have the poor, Basically what I was saying was, now we have just two classes in America, the poor and the wealthy. And in order to move from poor to the middle class once more, Americans will need to remember what our flag represents and learn again how to stand up for the good of all people in the face of greed and self-interest. It stops with you and taking action. Now for our personal injury in the news this week. These are my views on current events and have no association